God can take your right now and make your right now a beautiful future.
Well, hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Donovan Parks. I am the Youth Director here at Long Branch, and I'm excited to be joining on with you. Surprise, surprise, it's not Pastor Dogan today. Listen, I am come on about once a year, especially at the beginning of summertime, to talk to my families, talk to my parents. Even if there's some scholars listening, talk to you about the summer, talk to you about what to expect. I hope you had a wonderful school year, but I do want to talk to you about some things so that you can have a successful summer and that we avoid that summer slide and make sure you still stay educationally involved as we go through. But first, I want to invite you to share this program. I know this may not speak to everybody today, but I do want to invite you to hit that share button, be what we like to call a digital disciple and an electronic evangelist, and share. There may be a parent, there may be a family somewhere who needs to hear some wonderful things and get some tips for the summer for their scholar. We're going to try to talk to all ages, kindergarten through 12th grade. I have a special guest with me that we're going to bring on here in just a minute, but I do have some announcements and some things for the Long Branch family from Pastor Dogan that we want to make sure that we do and discover and talk about. I want to make sure that we recognize and keep all of our bereaved families in prayer. Please, Long Branch, we want to make sure and let you know that the viewing for Brenda Cohen will be this Friday, June 5th. The viewing for Brenda Cohen will be this Friday, June 5th at the Beasley Funeral Home from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's this Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We ask that you all would keep the family in prayer and all others who are dealing with any losses right now. We also want to remind you that it is a new month. We are in June. This is the first full week of June. And we want to let you know that we have intercessory prayer coming up this Saturday at 8 a.m. Intercessory prayer will take place this Saturday at 8 a.m. in the chapel. Please make sure you bring your prayer journals, and that will be led by our ministers. And also, don't forget, we had 5 Sundays last month, but this is first Sunday. So there's 3 services at the branch, 7:45, 9:45, and 11:45. It's Communion Sunday, so we're looking forward to seeing everybody and all of our families at church. We also want to let you know that we had a little bit of a break for Children's Church. We had 4th Sunday where we usually don't have Children's Church because of youth involvement. And then on 5th Sundays, we don't have Children's Church to give our teachers and our wonderful volunteers half a break. But we're back this Sunday. We are back this Sunday over in the chapel, Children's and Youth Church check-in, digital check-in at 9:30 a.m. with breakfast and instruction starting right then. So families, we're looking forward to serving you and having you and being a part of our children and youth program this week, as we do every week. So once again, my name is Donovan Parks. I've served in education, still in education, and I serve as the youth director. One of the best responsibilities God has given me to serve the people of Long Branch Baptist Church. So we're going to go ahead and get started as we are in the summer. First of all, let me say congratulations to all the parents and the families for making it through another school year. I know you studied just as hard as some of the scholars for on those tests, and we made A's. Yes, we made A's, we made B's. We're thankful for all of the hard work that we learned, and some of us have even struggled to learn some of that high school math. Pray for me as I get to that with my kids when we get there. We're not there yet, but I'm excited to learn. Let's go ahead and bring in our special guest. I'm going to invite him to the stage. He is not a stranger to the Long Branch family. I met him when I came on as the youth director back in 2021. I don't want to tell everything about him. He's going to kind of introduce, but I will let you know that he is none other than Mr. Marquise Flemings. He is the Executive Director of Best Skills Academy. Marquise, man, I appreciate you as a brother and then as a fellow educator and everything that you do for the community and for our scholars. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and then tell us a little bit about Best Skills before we jump into how to have an effective summer for our scholars?
Yo, first I want to thank you and Pastor Dogan for allowing me to come and hang out with y'all today.
Yes, sir.
So we've been at Long Branch since 2019. So we started up in 2019, right before COVID, and we only had 1 or 2 students, and currently we have about 25 students. So we're excited about the new school year. We're here to help kids that are struggling in traditional schools academically. And we normally help kids get about 1.5 years progression, if they're struggling behind. So each year we kind of move them up 1.5 years academically in math and reading. So our goal is, to make productive citizens, give them the skills to succeed. And, we just want them to have good lives, man.
Right. What grade levels do you all service at Best Skills?
So currently we are servicing so our private school. So we have 2 programs. We have a private school. Our private school goes from 6th to 9th, and then we have a high school learning center where we partner with online charter schools and online schools, and we help high schoolers go through high school.
Awesome. Once again, family, before we jump in too much, I want to invite you to share this, please. I know it may not speak to everybody right now, but I want you to share it with somebody who has school-age scholars, somebody who is trying to figure out what to do with their scholars for the summer. How do I keep them engaged? How do I keep them involved? We want to speak to that for just a little bit of the time that we have. So go ahead and share, hit that share button, text somebody, let them know we're on YouTube and on Facebook talking about how to set your scholar up. So we're going to jump right in. One of the biggest things that I feel like has data attached to it, Marquise, it's even political data attached to it, is reading and how it affects our scholars, how it affects our Black men, how it affects all of us. There is data it's called the prison to school pipeline, basically, that says if a scholar cannot read proficiently by, I believe it is the 3rd grade, then they are basically looking at how many of those Black males cannot read, and that's how many prisons spaces they need to make. So reading is essential. It's one of the major initiatives that Pastor Dogan shared with me when I first came on. And so I want to talk to you, Marquise. Give us some info on that, and then why it's important. And then I want you to talk a little about the summer reading initiative that you all are doing.
Yeah. So first of all, reading impacts, when you're talking about the major core courses, if you can't read, it's hard. You're going to struggle in all those core courses. Even math. Think about all the word problems you have in math. So if you can't read and comprehend, then you're going to really struggle in your core subjects. And so it'll be hard to learn and grasp concepts. So we're big on reading. Our reading initiative this year, we started a Best Book Club, which is open up to the community. It's free. So actually I have two of the books that we're reading, and 2 of the books. So it's focusing on high school and middle school kids. And what we're doing is we're going to meet virtually once a week, have discussions, and then at the end of each month, we're going to meet up at I know Main Event is one of them, and I want to say Big Air is the other one. So we'll meet up, discuss the book, and then we'll give them gift cards to go play games and stuff. And at the end, they'll receive, at the end of the 8 weeks, they'll receive a gift card. So the main thing behind this is, of course, we don't want that backslide that we normally have from in the education system when kids get back to school. But we want them to understand that reading can be as entertaining as social media. So, it's a great leisure, and we want to build their strength in reading. So we're very excited about this. We got a lot of great kids that's already signed up. I got a couple of emails. We've already mailed off some books. Once again, it's free. And we just want to, we open it up to the community. So it's not just for best kids, it's for the community. And so we're excited about it.
Awesome. And I know we, at our last last Youth Sunday, we had you guys out in the side lobby with some of our giveaways. I know that Marquis said that he had some Long Branch Youth Scholars sign up. So
Yeah.
we're excited about that. I know that the start date, I'm going to put the flyer back up. The start date was June 1st. It is the 3rd, but Marquis said it's not too late. He actually said that he has room for about
Yes.
8 to 10 more scholars. Is that correct, Marquis?
Yes.
So
Yes.
he has room for 8 to 10 more scholars. So parents, this is a good way that even if you're not don't have the time to dedicate to checking in or all that, they're going to do this. They're going to stay in contact with your scholar or with you by email and have weekly virtual meetups, and then of course the in-persons once a month. And then, like you said, they're getting gift cards at the end of the year, to end of the summer, to celebrate this. The quickest way to sign up, Marquis, is by QR code. Maybe
Yeah, that'd be the quickest way. Yeah.
Yeah. So family, if you're at home, if you're watching on your TV on YouTube, you can simply hold your phone up. If you have a scholar that you want to sign up, hold your phone up to the TV, to that QR code, and hopefully it should bring up a link that you can click on. If you're watching on your phone, I'm going to give you a quick little tip. A lot of people don't know this about putting screenshots, QR codes on the screen. If you're watching it on your phone, if you screenshot it, if you know how to screenshot, if you screenshot it, it'll go into your photo gallery. And then you got to go to the photo in your photo gallery and then hold down the QR code in order for that to pick up. That's the only way to get it to work if you're watching it on your phone. So screenshot it, then go to your gallery, then hold the QR code down, and it should pop up a link. So we're going to put that back up again before the end of the broadcast. I'm going to check the comments and see if we got any comments here. Good. So Pastor Dogan said, sign up today. That's right. Thank you, Pastor. Today. That's right. Good evening, everybody. We got Carrie Fair on. Miss Sarah Johnson's a former educator, retired educator. Thank her for being on tonight. And Deacon Coleman is on. Miss April Bird, she's got some scholars in Long Branch Youth. We appreciate her. Mother Dogan is on. Miss Ruby Davis. Mother Connie Burgess. I know Marquis is very familiar with Mother Burgess.
Yeah.
Culinary. So thank you all for being on. Don't forget to share with our other parents and things like that. So reading is super important. We're going to put that QR code information back up before we sign off tonight. We're going to keep moving into our next topic, math skills. Math skills. I'm going to be honest with you, family. Math was not Donovan's forte. I was a musician, so they say we can count to 4 really well. Musicians count to 4 really well, but math is important. And it's just as time goes on, the type of math they're doing earlier and earlier is just getting more and more. So Marquis, can you just talk about like some of the foundation? I do know one thing: math always builds on itself. Right?
It does, man. Okay. My favorite subject, by the way. I taught math a little bit, so I love math. Yeah, and that's the key thing that people have to remember. You have to know the foundation parts because it really does build on itself. And if you miss out on some stuff, then you'll struggle the higher you get. And so I always try to tell the kids that we work with, don't just learn it and forget it, because once you start learning it and forget it, it's hard for you to move on as you get higher up. So try to remember and retain the information. Math is very important when it comes to academics. And it builds on itself. You said it the best. I mean, and that's the thing that people don't really realize. You can't jump into geometry and not know the foundations of algebra. So I mean, you really need to know the basics. The things I always tell, especially my elementary kids, please learn multiplication and division. Adding and subtracting is always great, because we should all know how to do that. But, if you remember the basics of division and multiplication, we can make other things happen. So that's great.
Tell me this, Marquis, if I'm a parent, and I am a parent, I have a rising fifth grader and a third grader. When should and we all know multiplication tables, we should dedicate them to memory. I still know mine through 12 for the most part. But when should our scholar know all of their multiplication table? By what grade level would you say, going into what grade level?
I would say, me personally, at the end of 3rd grade, they should know them up to 10. Okay. They really need to be knowing them up to 10. And then you can start moving on from there. I think if you're really consistent with teaching them the multiplication and division, I mean, it becomes easy after that. I mean, stuff becomes, it's easier to make sense of other formulas and other maths.
So let's just stamp this. You said scholars should know timetables up to 10 by third grade.
Yeah, that's my
By
recommendation.
end of third grade?
By the end of third grade, yes.
Okay, excellent. So y'all heard it here first from Best Skills Academy Executive Director. Scholars should know timetables up to 10 by end of third grade. So that's great information if you're around your family. Ask those kids, ask them, 10 times 10. Those were the easy ones. You just add a 0 for the most time to the numbers, 4 times 10, 40, things like that. But definitely try to get those in. And I got somewhat of a controversial question I want to ask you, Marquise, because I think with being in education still now on the administrative side, I hear about this all the time. What are your thoughts on retention, like staying back a grade and matriculating even if you're not ready? Because I feel like sometimes that, I know it's tough. I know that was going to be a big one for you, but I really feel like our community, I feel like our parents, I feel like our culture needs to hear, because a lot of times we feel like it's so bad to stay back. But my question to you is what if I'm my scholar? I know they're not ready for the next grade level, and I'm pushing them on to the next one. I'm just interested in what your thoughts are.
Okay, my personal opinions would be working with the community that I work with. If you push them ahead, it's easier for them to get frustrated and forget it. Because if I don't know some of the basics already, and we're building on top of math, or on top of content, then it's harder for them to learn and be like and stay engaged. Because at that point, I'm frustrated. I don't know what you're already talking about. A lot of times, teachers' classrooms are so big that I don't have time to go back to reteach you. So now you're just getting further and further behind. So I have no problem with holding a kid back, and I'm for it if the kid really needs it. I mean, don't look at it as like a failure. Look at it as like, yo, I'm helping you. I really want to help you, and I want you to master this skill. And I think that's the part that people forget about is mastery, because we just want that A. Well, I got an A, but did you remember the content? Did you master the content? And so mastery becomes key.
That's good.
My personal opinion.
No, thank you so much for sharing. Next point I want to talk about is something which is near and dear to my heart as well, is screen time. Screen time. How much time do we allow our scholars to spend on their devices? Let's talk like at home during the summer and even at school, because I mean, everybody's got Chromebooks. We're pretty much every school. I don't know a school that's not one-to-one. One-to-one means that every scholar is on a device. Yeah. It's just where we are today. Let's just be real. And we have to, if they're on computers and using the technology at school, they got to have some of that at home too. But I think that where we run into is just like the phones and the social media and the things like that. So at school, for education purposes, it's 100% necessary. You want to encourage your parents and families. You want to encourage your scholars to be on the appropriate sites when they're at school. They're on those correct things. But at home, a lot of times our scholars, we give them cell phones. We allow them to be on the tablets and stuff. Are we monitoring what they're watching? Are we checking what they're watching? Are we looking over their shoulder? Because a lot of times that's how they're introduced to the wrong things. That's how they end up talking to the wrong people. And then we allow them to be on those phones when they're not in our presence. We allow them to be on those phones too late at night. That's when things are happening. So can you speak to just a little bit about, what you guys do, what you talked about earlier when you and I were talking about what you're going to implement. And I can talk a little bit about what we do from a school standpoint as well.
Yeah, so just to let the people know, next year our school will be cell phone free. And that's just because it becomes distractive during instructional time. But I do agree with you, and there's a lot of data that shows, even in academics, that the less screen time that they have, the more engaged they are in the instruction itself. But one of the problems we have with excessive screen time that's been shown is that it becomes desensitizing, because desensitize our kids to a lot of stuff, because they are exposed to things that might not be age appropriate. And so like it numbs them to horrible situations that might happen in society, because it's like, I see it all the time. and it's like a video game to them. Like, if you're playing a shooter game, you shoot the person, you kill them, and then they don't always understand. There's no reset button. They're not going to spawn back into the game, the next series or something. So yeah, I think overexposure, and we as parents have to continue to monitor our kids to make sure that they are watching stuff that's age appropriate. And if you are allowing them to watch certain things, be there to explain it to them. Explain what's going on, and the effects of what they're watching. So
that's great. That's great. There are apps, parents, that can allow you to control and limit that from your phone. And also, if you did not know, the state of South Carolina passed a law last year for public schools, the schools in general, that if you scholars, if they bring their phone to school, it cannot be out. It's not supposed to be on. It's not supposed to be. They're not supposed to be using it at school. So for a lot of schools have gone to lock boxes where you go in the classroom, they put it up, just for that same reason, distractions, and then the amount of drama that comes from these cell phones. Outrageous too, things that don't even happen at school. So that's a whole nother thing right there. So just limit and make sure you know where your scholars' phones are, and that we're also, I know it's hard when you want to get in contact with them, but try not to text your kids at school or call them at school, because that happens a lot too. So we could do that. Also want to let you know, let's talk about a learning routine.
Very important, I think. A learning routine, especially during the summertime, because it's so easy to get off routine, and it just creates structure, and that helps with executive functioning skills as well. But we can talk about that another day. But having that learning routine, so we don't have that slide at the end of the year with the first whole 9 weeks where we're reviewing what we learned last year. So just, and it's not over the summer you need to be introducing new content. It's over the summer, it's just basically like review, or just keeping them engaged academically, keeping them refreshed on how to learn. So I think the routine is very important in the summers. So I'm a big fan of it, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like, I'll tell you, our book club, I want to say the kids are only reading 10 pages a day. Nothing crazy, it's nothing crazy, but you're just reading the 10 pages a day just to stay engaged, keep your brain, going. You're not, my niece calls it bed rot. You're not bed rotting and scrolling, so yeah, it's just, you just want to keep your kid engaged.
I'm going to give a parent pro tip here. My kid's summer break is pretty much over. Their academic summer practice books are coming in from Amazon on Friday. So their instruction, their practice books are coming in on Friday. You can order any type of from the grade they're into. So for example, Gavin is going to third grade. So second to third grade academic summer book. Look that up on Amazon. You can go to Dollar General. I've bought them from Dollar General before, Dollar Tree. They have workbooks that just say whatever grade level your scholar is going to. And would you believe that all it really asks and all they really need is 15 minutes a day?
That's it.
They really just need 15 minutes a day, 5 times a week on Monday through Friday. That's enough to keep their bodies, to keep their minds functioning, keep their minds fresh. And you don't have to worry about what it is, because it's already set. It's curriculum that is set, that the professionals have put in there for their grade level. Once again, you can find those on Amazon. What I'll do for the Long Branch family is I will put those that information on our Facebook, Long Branch Youth Facebook page. If you're not following us, follow us on Long Branch Youth Facebook page, as well as Best Skills Academy has a Facebook page as well. We've shared some of their stuff before, but you can buy these books. The one I got was $12 for my scholars. You can purchase them for even cheaper than that. Just get this book that they can follow along 15 minutes a day to help combat that summer slide.
And Donovan, my bad. If I'm not mistaken, I think not Amazon, Barnes and Noble, they're giving away free books like first through the fifth grade. Okay. Kindergarten through fifth grade. So they're giving out free books during the summer. So there's different ways that you can get material. They have a lot of free websites. If you want to pull up like some math worksheets and stuff like that, you can easily pull up some content. If you want to work on math, if you want to work on whatever your grade level is, you can easily Google fifth grade math worksheets and free. And you'll pull up, there's a whole bunch of content out there.
Awesome. That was a resource that you can buy and come up with, and you have to kind of have prepared for you. But something that we all know how to do that you can prepare yourself, parents. And my next topic is encouraging writing and penmanship, and what it looks like to write neatly, what it looks like to practice your uppercase and lowercase. Marquise and I probably grew up in the same where we actually learned cursive.
Yes.
I know that's like a lost art right now. I feel like it may be coming back. I've heard different things. I know
I hope so.
My kids think it's cool to write in cursive. But I don't think they teach it in school like they used to. Listen, if you're watching in the chat, can you just let us know yes or no? You know cursive. If you know how to write in cursive, can you just put a yes and put a no? I love to get a poll of who knows how to write in cursive, because believe me, family, these young kids don't know how to write in cursive. They can barely do print, and it's not neat. So while you're putting in the comments, just get some notebook paper and write the letters really big and have them do lines. Like have them do 5 lines of different words, like just to practice their penmanship. So we got some yeses coming in. So I bet you most of the people on know cursive, know how to write in cursive as they're coming in. Any other tips?
We had some last year. I want to say last year, Robert had the kids try to read the Declaration of Independence, and they were struggling. Like I don't know what this is, and it was crazy to me. It was funny. It's written some of it's written in cursive and stuff. So it's just like, it's funny.
So I have not got a no yet in the chat about people knowing how to write in cursive. So that means we got to do a better job of getting these kids to write in cursive. So
that's right.
So that they can do right. So listen, we're gonna keep moving as our time is going. We probably could have talked about this for an hour, honestly, Marquise, but our time is moving. Let's talk about physical activity over the summer. And I'm actually glad to talk about this because me and Marquise, we have Apple Watches. And we actually share activities. So when Marquise works out, I get a notification. And when I work out, Marquise gets notification. So
trust me, Donovan's notification, he gets more notifications than I do of him. Yeah, he is crushing it.
And my notifications usually come out early in the morning, right, Marquise?
Yeah, no, but I'm up at that time, so it's perfect.
That's right. So Pastor Dogan said cursive and scribble. Cursive and scribble. I don't think they're teaching how to write scribble, but that's just how they come out doing it. But physical activity, we've got to encourage the kids to move over the summer as well. Whether it's riding a bike, if they're not in camp somewhere, playing a sport, get outside. And I know growing up, we used to parents, hey, go outside and come back in an hour or so. Make sure they're running around off the screens, off the devices. No tech time or whatever you want to call it. Put a ball in their hand. Tell them to go do something outside for you. Chores. They've got to be physical activity because Long Branch is a health and wellness church as well, healthy initiative. We want to make sure that they're eating healthy, that we're not doing too much snacking, lots of chips and things like that. All those are good in moderation, but a lot of times when we become unactive or inactive during the summer, that's when our bodies start to become sedentary. So get your scholars up and moving. Don't allow them to sit on the devices all day long. Now, I know you guys do some things that you guys actually bring in somebody.
So we do Amplify. Amplify comes and work out with our kids, and we're big on teaching them the importance of health. I mean, you need to know your body. So just teaching kids, like, we want to, you want to live longer. So, one way to live longer is to be a little healthier and have physical activity. And so, we are big on just having our kids being engaged. There's times like you said, we're going outside, we're playing basketball, we're engaging the kids. Sometimes you'll see me out there playing basketball with them. I don't shoot like I used to. I don't get off the ground like I used to. So, but now it's just, it also refreshes their mind too. So I'm big on physical activity as well and getting kids out in an environment.
Awesome. I cannot believe it's 6:30 already. Honestly, I cannot believe it's 6:30 already. We're having a great time talking. We did make it through pretty much most of all of our content. I do want to talk about just preparing for the new school year, and then we're going to put up the reading QR code once again for parents. We want to really try to get 10 more scholars. I would love for them all to be from the LBY family, but if not, that's cool. We can share as well so that we can have some of our scholars participate in reading. But as you're going into the new school year, just making sure you're setting goals. If there was something that your scholar didn't do well last year, or even as a parent, if you want to check in more, if you want to be more communicative with the teachers, if you want to be more visible at school, set a goal for yourself and then let your kids know I'm setting a goal for you and with you as we go into an academic school year. That helps humanize yourself. That helps your scholars see that, hey, mom, dad is really interested in what I have going on. And that really is going to make them feel like you're in it to win it with them as you go into the school year. So listen, we're here to be a resource. Marquise and the school and Rob, who's the other teacher with him, one of his other business partner and teacher at the school. They're there at the school, at the church. We failed to mention that Best Skills is housed at Long Branch. And they're there. So they're wonderful and a great resource. We have lots of professional teachers. We even have principals at our school. At our church, we have retired principals at our church. We have a wealth of information. So if you let us know, I promise you, we can find somebody who can get to you. We also started our Leaders Building Young Minds this year, where we did academic instruction throughout the school year as well. So we want to keep that up as we go into the next year. So there's plenty of things that we can do. We also always celebrate education, as we just got done with our baccalaureate service. And then we are also celebrating furthering education with our Blessings from the Branch scholarship, which we just had scholars submit for. So there's so many things that we can do. Any closing thoughts from you, Marquise, before I put back up the reading information? What would you tell
man, I'm with you. I just want everybody to know that, you don't have to come to the school to ask any questions that you might have. We're here as a resource. Anything that the Long Branch family has been great to us, the schools and our kids. And so if there's anything that we can do, you guys can always call, email. We're always here, and we'll try to point you in the right direction if we don't know the answer. So hey, we're here for you. We appreciate y'all.
Marquise, can you tell me? I'm going to put the LBY email up here real quick. They hear it all the time, Long Branch Youth, lby@gmail.com. But can you tell me how can we reach you, Marquise?
So info@best-skills.org.
At best-skills.org.
Yep.
All right. So if you have a question for myself, you can hit me at longbranchyouth@lby@gmail.com. And then I think I got this right, info@best-skills.org. If you need to get in contact with Mr. Fleming or anybody else on the Best Skills team, they will be more than happy to assist you. So I'm going to put up the reading information one more time. If you want to screenshot it, or if you're watching on a TV, if you want to throw your phone up real quick to try to get that QR code to get logged in. Remember, there was about 8 to 10 more spots available. So hopefully after this session or in a couple of days, Marquise, those spots will be filled.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And, we can hear about the wonderful and great things that are going to happen throughout the summer as our scholars prevent that summer slide with some of the tips that we've given to you here today. So I want to thank you once again, Marquise. I want to just do one more refresh and reminder. Remember, Long Branch Family Intercessory Prayer will be this Saturday at 8 a.m. Bring your prayer journals in 3 services. It's Communion Sunday, first Sunday in June, and Children and Youth Church will be in service this week, 9:30 a.m. check-in with breakfast. And then please remember to be in prayer for the bereaved families. Brenda Cohen viewing will be Friday, June 5th at the Beasley Funeral Home from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Marquise, thank you again so much. Thank you, Pastor Dogan, for this opportunity. Thank you, Long Branch family, for hanging out with us. Even if you don't have a young scholar, hopefully you have a niece or a nephew or a grandson or a granddaughter that you can share this information with. You know what Pastor Dogan just says, but I'm going to tell you, I'm impact, you're impact, but we're better together. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great rest of your week. The weather's supposed to be really nice. Enjoy yourself. And I look forward to seeing you and your scholar this Sunday at Children's Church at Long Branch. 3 services. We'll see you then. Thank you, Marquise. Y'all have a great rest of your week.